talking about Stranger Things. We're talking about a little bit of Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
Merry Mini Monday, Chunkies. I'm Carter.
I will be playing the role of Doge for this broadcast.
And on this one, I'm Jordan, but 1980s style.
Oh.
1980 style.
I could tell your sleeves were poofy.
Yeah, I've
I can
got
tell.
a
Yeah.
pack of cigarettes rolled up in my sleeve, and I've got a denim vest on, and my curls are luscious and flowing.
They are luscious and flowing today,
are
though.
luscious.
One of
For
those
real.
things is true.
You're very Eddie right now.
Well, I just finished doing my other job, which involves a lot of my hair just growing largely throughout the day.
Yeah.
You get paid for that?
Yeah.
Today's special
Canteen.
episode of Mini Monday is twofold. One, in that we are just naturally a group of friends first that want to talk about cool things. And then also we recognize we have an audience that would want to hear about cool things. Here's what's so fun. While on one end we say we're not going to do Obi-Wan because we have Star Wars fatigue. On the other end, even though we've never done a single season of it, we want to strike while the iron is hot. We want to strike while there's a gate to hell in Hawkins and talk about Stranger Things season 4. I
Yes,
remember being excited about it regardless.
Should we go ahead and say right now, if you haven't watched the last 2 episodes of Stranger Things 4, this will ruin your life.
Yeah.
Full spoilers for Stranger Things 4 are in the rest of this episode.
Let's just sort of generically talk for about 20 more seconds in case somebody's phone is across the kitchen while they do dishes.
Cool.
Give them some time.
I've got some generic stuff.
to get over to
So
their
I
phone.
loved when 11 had powers and the kids did D&D stuff.
Yeah.
Spoilers,
that was fun.
dude.
Well,
That was fun. I have been in on Stranger Things from the start, and I think we've even talked
Same.
about maybe how we would rank certain seasons, and we'll get into a little bit more of that later. Season 1 was a phenom in a way for television. I think
yeah.
were it not for Stranger Things season 1 as IP of Netflix, I don't know that we would have as a big of a, like Netflix feels like one of the top contenders in the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
And Stranger Things was one of its first big things. And I forget how long ago that was. Granted, between the ages of 11 and 17, 18, we grow a lot as humans, but in watching Stranger Things 4 and seeing the voice, hearing the voices change dramatically for some, the height changed dramatically for others. I felt like I was back at Hogwarts watching Neville Longbottom have to be uglied up towards the end. But season 4 just had to happen for us on the podcast. It was recommended by Jordan for us to go ahead and do it, but it makes sense. I think this is a special thing. I don't think this happens a lot when you have, let's say, at least 3 seasons of a show. Sometimes you have your perfect show runs, which I would argue Schitt's Creek is one of those things.
Sure.
I was trying to think of the stuff that was from beginning to end. They had a clear story. They finished the story. They were done.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad is the
one of
same
those.
way. Absolutely. I would feel the same way. Where we start to be like, ugh, and have a bad taste in our mouth could be things like Westworld. Could be things like, unfortunately, Game of Thrones, which had the potential to be my favorite show of all time. But this is so interesting to me. I can't think of too many shows that have come back, not really come back, but had a tail end season. For me personally, and my opinion's out there already, I've really, really enjoyed season 4.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say it's better than 1 for me because there's just some, it's very New Hopian. That's like, this came out of nowhere. This is gorgeous and wonderful. But yeah, how are you guys feeling after wrapping up season 4?
Here's the shock for me. I've been pretty vocal about how Stranger Things has been a rudderless ship since season 1. Season 1 burst onto the scene, had a really clear identity, knew exactly what it was and what it was doing. Season 2 was like, they're dogs now. The Demogorgons are dogs now. They're different monster, and it's Halloween.
Yeah.
And they saw Ghostbusters over the summer.
Yeah.
And then season 3 was like, there's a mall now. And it was like, okay, there's a new thing in Hawkins, a new 1980s thing in Hawkins with a different monster that is somehow, but not really, connected to the other monsters. It was getting really thin. And I was against my better judgment excited for this season. And I think that season 4 has showed up and turned the show around and actually saved the show for me.
That's
where now we're drawing a unified mythology. We're connecting the dots between all of these things and making them all part of the same threat rather than just here's a new flavor of monster.
Retroactively making
Here's a
seasons
new
2 and
flavor.
3 better.
And here's the
Exactly.
thing. I don't know how often writers can be acknowledged as magooing certain things, but it does feel like I don't with the weakness of specifically season 2. I don't see if the Duffer Brothers were to come out and say this was our plan all along. I don't know if I believe them.
That is patently untrue.
They have said that they had seasons 1 through 5 mapped out since day 1.
Here's what's fun about this.
I don't think that's true at all.
And it's kind of meta narrative here. I think Stranger Things has ended up like a good campaign of Dungeons and Dragons.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you've played
100%.
before, the Duffer Brothers are the DM, and they're like, okay, didn't expect this, had to do this because people were only available here. So the season 2 is the moment that it's like, okay, production company rolled something I didn't expect. There was a crit. We had a critical hit on the first. I've got to do something within the next calendar year. I got to keep going. Okay, not necessarily a crit fail because people are still on board. Then they come back and they're like, okay, let's put all this together. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall of what I believe was a very recent moment that the Duffer Brothers wrote season 4. It feels like. And to me, here is my super pump for the entire season 4 of Stranger Things. It is the creation and introduction of Vecna.
Yes, me too.
I think
me too as well.
This story and to see the full narrative like Doge is talking about, I think it's impossible to have that. It's like baking without flour if you don't have the antagonist and they nailed it. Vecna to me and the origin of Vecna, even though I was catching a whiff of who Vecna would become or who would become Vecna at one point pretty early, and I think a lot of people were.
Yeah.
Vecna is it for me. Granted, there's some scenes that I could talk about, but I think for a movie or a show as a whole, which ended up feeling like 16 episodes, but was only 9.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. For the show as a whole, the biggest piece was the biggest super pump for me. Plenty of scenes though that I was just like, this is the most metal, wonderful thing I've ever seen. Up there with
single most metal thing I've ever seen is Master of Puppets in the Upside Down. Are you kidding?
Yeah. So season 4 has there's some recency bias going on that I want to hedge my bets a little bit because of this. I need some time to marinate truly, but I think season 4 has leapfrogged season 1 as my favorite season of the show. I think it now goes 4-1, 3-2 for me. 2 is always last place. Don't have to
1,
think
4, 3, 2.
2 will always be
2
last.
is very bad. But I think for me, the super pump is devastatingly Eddie.
Yeah, I could have put money down that would be your super pump.
I think that
he's an anomaly, by the way. Characters that come in the most recent series and like the most recent installment of the series,
entire show.
Yeah.
He is
anomaly.
Never in a TV show have I seen somebody come in this late in the game and become just as important to me as my all-time favorite Stranger Things character, Steve Harrington.
Dude, as soon as Steve started talking about his dream of kids in an RV, I thought he was going to die.
I did
I've
too,
watched too much
dude.
Walking Dead.
I looked at Callie and I was like, bye, Steve.
Yeah.
See you later.
Same.
Yeah, obviously Master of Puppets on top of the on top of the trailer is unbelievably cool. Like literally the sickest thing they could have possibly done. So
dope.
but here's my thing with Eddie and why he's my super pump.
Imagine being that actor.
Both acting and writing. He is masterfully written, masterfully acted to be this softy, this misunderstood, tragic hero who finally gets to do the things that he pretended to do in D&D and feel what it feels like to protect the people that he cares about.
Yeah.
And I was gutted, but I knew it was coming from the beginning, honestly. I mean, from the moment he was introduced, I felt like I could have guessed where his story was headed, but I was so blown away by him. Like, I'm to the point where I'll just watch anything that man does because he was so charming.
He was incredible.
As Eddie. So Eddie's my super pump, followed closely by Vecna and how awesome that story is.
Eddie being introduced in season 4 of Stranger Things is like if we got Tyrion Lannister in like season 7 of Game of Thrones. Right. It's like, wait, who is this?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Why have you been hiding this person from me?
Why have you been doing this? And his relationship too with Dustin was just really sweet and sad.
Dustin speaking to Eddie's uncle
at the end, dude, get
broke my soul. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, broke mine too. It was all so good. I do want to say, as excited as I was for a 2-hour, 20-minute finale episode, I do have a super dump for the series in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that, our antagonist, that was my super pump, talked so threateningly and so menacing and slow for 50 of those 2 hours and 20 minutes. He was the classic, he was Bond villainy when we didn't need it.
Yeah.
He's like, you've got him, just kill him.
Yeah.
Just go. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just kill him. Especially, Jordan, you referenced this. We both did, or everybody did. But we thought Steve was going to die. There's a lot of people that we thought were just not going to come back. I think there was a moment for me that Eleven's out. She's going to just be done. She's going to give her life for Max.
Right.
All these things are going to happen. There's no way they all come back together. Oh, they kind of do. And we just lose Eddie, which was, again, a big loss.
Ugh.
But to have all of that and to have all these threats and have no payoff, in terms of losing more. We kind of lost Max. That'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, because that's what Dr. Brenner says, is when he kills people, he consumes. And so she's back, but everything that she was is gone as part of Vecna.
I think that was 11 walking in her empty consciousness.
Walking in her empty mind. Yeah.
I also think that, there's a chance that Eddie can somehow come back because he only died exclusively in the Upside Down and not in the real world. I was thinking about that. Is there some sort of soul but not body kind of a situation going on there?
And if that's the case, then Barb can come
back.
Right.
I had that same thought too. The end of this show could be a lot of people coming back and getting caught up on the last 3 years or whatever. But while we're talking about Max a little bit, can we talk about the phenom that
Vecna will be like, I am inevitable. And
snap his fingers. Yeah.
She'll be bitching and snap the fingers. Everybody comes back.
Let's talk about the phenom that is Sadie Sink and how we just watched.
She's great.
We just watched a career launch over the moon in season 4 of Stranger Things.
Yeah, dude, she's great.
She's so good.
She's so good.
I did not know she had that until this.
I could see her being the most successful from here out of the kids.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree. Because she's the best of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, I would say she's the one besides Millie Bobby Brown and Galen, what's his name, who plays Dustin?
It's Gaten Matarazzo.
You got it. Yeah. I think aside from those three, most of the kids are quite bad at acting.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. They're going to, he's got, who played Eleven's boyfriend? Oh my gosh. I'm trying to open my phone. Mike. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm going to lose
his name is Finn
my
Wolfhard.
Wi-Fi if I look at it. Yeah. So Finn is already he's got a great career. I don't know how far it'll go past him being a kiddo. Right. But he's been in the It series and now he's done this.
Dude, I feel like he got worse.
I think so too. He was pretty bad this series.
He got worse. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Can I super dump for the show? For this season of the show?
Yeah, sure.
Super dump for the show would obviously be that weird spin-off episode in season 2.
Yeah, of course.
3 out of 10 for that. Super dump for this season is Jonathan Byers. I feel like the writers completely forgot what to do with him because Jonathan in the first 3 seasons is a top character for me in the way that he's completely just I will do whatever for my brother. I'm going to be kind of the bedrock of this family while mom's freaking out because Will's gone or Will's sick in season 2 or Will's crying in season 3.
Totally lost him.
Jonathan disappeared this season and was uncharacteristically non-communicative toward Nancy, which we did so that we could get Nancy and Steve back together. But I don't think anybody was really clamoring for that.
Yeah.
It feels like the writers did not know what to do with Jonathan.
That's such a bummer.
See, I thought that until the last episode.
But that very last scene that he has, that's the only time we see Jonathan, I feel like.
Yeah, but I wonder
the reason his conversation with his brother was good too. And stirring the salt into the vat. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I think
that's what I mean.
The only reason it ended up not bothering me is because it kind of seemed like they wrote it to be hey, this is Jonathan dealing with everything, is folding himself into
completely
distancing himself from everything and just getting high all the time. And that's all he cares about. And then he wakes up at the end to what's important again. And I felt like the Steve Nancy thing was a result of Jonathan's distance, not Jonathan was written to be distant so that Steve and Nancy could have a will they won't they thing.
I think that's totally a valid interpretation, but I I think it would be hard to argue that is clearly laid out.
I agree. Yeah,
in the show.
I agree.
Like, I think if that's the intent, then we need to like give Jonathan because everybody else gets a chance to either soliloquy or like talk to another person and very, very upfront be like, this is what I think and feel.
Sure.
And Jonathan does not get that moment.
Yeah, Jonathan's in the wrong pot. He's all of his ingredients are getting lost in Eleven's gumbo. Like he's in this whole narrative that is he's clearly the least important over there. I think if he's around Eddie and gets to talk about how he too was completely misunderstood and an outcast, I think he's got way more things to be relatable over there, but we have to connect him with his friends and connect him to the pizza shop, and like have all that dynamic there. But I agree with that. I think we did lose him a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's
but
a
it's
totally fair
big.
assessment.
When you start to get an ensemble like
There's
this,
so many characters now. Yeah.
it is really tough. But I think the Duffer Brothers said this was kind of like their Game of Thrones season, did they not? I think it's just because we had so many different stories in completely different
Game
environments.
Of Thrones pacing. Yeah.
Yeah. And having them kind of all come together at one point.
6 minutes per location on average at a
Now,
time.
here's the thing.
Cycle through.
If we in our final season that we're going to get of this show don't get Hopper and 11 together more than just 5 minutes, I will riot.
I think they gave us that. I think the last 15
everybody's
minutes
together
said, hey,
and
don't
back
worry.
in Hawkins.
Yeah, that's
We're all
what
here.
I need.
This is at the very end when we're all looking at the door to hell in the ground, it very much feels like an on your left moment. It's just like, hey,
sure, we're here now.
Here's the big battle.
Yeah, right.
Gang's all here. Yep.
And what a grab bag of episodes I'm sure we're going to get, and seeing the length of, like, it's so funny that is just out the window. Like, especially streaming produced shows.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like Game of Thrones was one of the first ones to do that. I think a lot of good shows, and some of the good ones that we mentioned had finales that were longer. Just the last episode was longer.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we want to put it all here. But to have it so all over the place, it's kind of fun to me, but it's like, it almost is like the end of an era unless it's on cable, and it's competing with something else. But when you're just competing with everything else that's on the platform, dynamics are really strange.
It would not surprise me if season 5, if Stranger Things 5 was a week by week release.
Really? Because of how...
I think the reason they held these last two was twofold. Number one, to keep people from unsubscribing from Netflix.
Yes, I think that's
and number two, to have like reviewers and content creators and folks like us doing what we're doing now.
Yeah.
That way everybody in the world is finishing Stranger Things 4 at the same time and talking about it at the same time. And Netflix has never really done that before. Yeah. It would not surprise me at all if they go week to week.
I mean, the majority of other streaming services besides Netflix have reverted back to the weekly release model. In fact, what a lot of them are doing right now is a batch of 2 to 3 release up top, and then every other episode is sort of metered out over however long. I do think that having everybody finish at the same time. So, like, let me put it this way: I would bet money our scene where we get running up that hill again in the finale. I think, I have nothing to back this up other than a hunch, but I think that was probably initially that Separate Ways remix.
Yeah.
Because when they played that Separate Ways remix at the end of the first of the last 2 episodes, I was like, this is cool. It feels out of place. The penultimate episode. I was like, this is cool, but it feels out of place. Then when they played that Running Up That Hill remix again, I was like, oh, you know what? I think they initially wanted Separate Ways here, but Running Up That Hill blew up so hard.
Kate Bush made $2.4 million off streams and purchases since Stranger Things 4
It is roughly the only song on TikTok currently is Running Up That Hill. And so I think they went back and changed it and turned that into that is, final scene.
That's also that is the cross section of incredibly magical things, because the first time we get it, the original, who do we have? Who is the only person that we see in any frame?
Yep.
And it's Max. It's it's like she had complete control of that with the perfect set. Like when everything is on all cylinders, it is viral these days.
I think you're exactly right, Jordan. Now that I think about it, because that climax is happening in different worlds, like,
doesn't it feel like it should have been Separate Ways?
Absolutely be Separate Ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the Separate Ways was in the trailer. I think they released the initial episode 4. Max runs out of hell, basically. And watched the reaction to that song and basically said,
like,
"Oh, we've
wow.
got to put that in the end.
We need to commission the single most badass version of Running Up That Hill that has ever graced anybody's ears.
Right.
Oh,
That was incredible. That music was incredible right there.
Let's journey to the Upside Down really quick. A place that is dark and ashy, but it does give us more money. We'll be right back.
At JCPenney's 4th of July sale, it's all stars, stripes, and savings. Enjoy up to 50% off select furniture, mattresses, and window coverings. Plus, shop thousands of doorbusters across the store or use your coupon for additional savings. Take advantage of extended store hours Friday and Saturday. It's time to refresh your star-spangled manor. Shopping is back. JCPenney. Offers N74. Exclusions apply. Doorbusters excluded from coupons. See jcp.com for details.
Make your 4th of July celebration even bigger this year with savings on everything you need to get your yard ready for summer. Make sure your flower beds and bushes can handle the heat with special savings on Vigoro mulch, now at a new lower price of $2.98 a bag. Keep the sun off your soil and water in the ground. Plus, add a fun pop of color that will last up to 12 months. So hurry in and get your yard ready for celebrating in the sun. Feels like 4th of July at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Available in-store and online. Color selection varies by store.
Ready to go inside the rock and roll world of Machine Gun Kelly? The all-new Hulu documentary, Machine Gun Kelly's Life in Pink, gives you intimate and unfiltered access to Machine Gun Kelly's meteoric rise to stardom as he overcomes self-doubt and haters to bring his authentic vision of music to his fans. The Hulu documentary, Machine Gun Kelly's Life in Pink, is now streaming only on Hulu.
Welcome back. Let's get some more. Let's wring some more Stranger Things season 4 energy out if we still have that, and then we've got a couple things in our lovely.
Did I
box
super
that
dump
we'd like to
I
already?
don't
see.
think
You have
did.
not. No, you are the only one who has not.
My super dump for season 4 is the jock bully was. I know it's that Stephen King 80s over the top, carve my initials into your chest kind of a thing.
And so was my super dump, though. A villain that doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
And that's how they lose.
I think the shark jump for me with the jocks was that a high school senior could take over a town hall and be like, "Follow me to go murder somebody." And everybody's like,
Spielbergian.
"Huzzah!" It is very Spielbergian.
it is.
It's very King. But I feel like we have almost become so much beyond that initial King influence that it now felt out of place to have the bully jock lead a pitchfork and torch party against a cult leader. But I did enjoy it. So, I mean,
He did get split in half when the gate to hell opened.
That was pretty brutal.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
And they don't give him enough time either, do they? They're just like, you could have missed that, honestly.
So just like, hey, he's there too.
Not anymore.
Also, nobody's
there
ever
into-
been strangled for that long. As Lucas,
Yeah, a lot of people
poor
lived-
Lucas was.
It's because Vecna wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody was
wait.
strangled up against the wall for at least that long
Yeah,
as well.
it's like 10 minutes of just
We're not
no air.
confident. We're not confident enough. Hey, I also, in terms of actresses that I love in this show, and it's her second season, but I love Hawk.
Oh,
yeah,
my
Maya
goodness.
Hawke is
Yeah.
great.
She's so good and she's so charming, and she brings a little bit of Hughes into all of this King and
Yes.
Spielberg
Yeah, very much.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, I can
think
see that.
she is the spirit of that, and I really like that. Something that I thought was pretty brilliant that I don't think you get a lot, especially from those old 80 movies, and a lot of these movies that have, I guess, finding out that it's the penultimate, but having the big plan, like trying to pull this thing together, like it made sense that the kids would know how to do this. Right? There were so many different facets of here's how we're going to communicate. We're not going to talk. We're going to use lights. We're going to try and find stuff. You're going to be in the haunted house. You're going to be over here. You're going to be over here. I think there was enough character development and enough history between them that it didn't seem far-fetched to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we had a whole nother level introduced that now we realize we can all go to, which that reveal in season 4 was great too. I love the scene of climbing up and then falling down.
Yeah.
I think was really fun of like just the entryways, but the payoff was great because I think they wrote a really good plan that made sense for the characters.
Yeah,
ultimately.
I agree.
Everybody's super pumped and super dumped, right?
I believe
Correct.
so.
Can we take just a second to list maybe one or two things apiece that were just cool to us? Because there are some things that were just cool to us. I just want to talk about Hopper with the sword.
Yeah,
fighting
of
Demogorgon.
course, dude.
That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Hopper's entire story was so Bruce Wayne crawling out of the Lazarus Pit jail this whole time.
Why do we fall?
It was and his Russian homie.
Many-Faced God.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah, Jack.
He was one of my favorite new creatures. His voice is like no one else.
Got a great voice.
Is he also a voice actor on a lot of video games?
That I
feel like I had looked at his credits, and he does a lot of voice acting.
I'll find out while
He's
Doge
wonderful.
talks about the other thing he thinks is cool.
He's wonderful.
Well, it was mostly just Hopper with a sword, I think, that I wanted to make sure we talked about.
Something that is visceral.
Done and done.
Something I won't forget is the scene, Chrissy, when we have the first person Vecna'd. That is when I was like, oh, we're in a new level. This felt
that was
like
pretty terrifying.
This felt like when we got into kind of like Prisoner of Azkaban era of Harry Potter, when we're like, okay, dark, understandably and appropriately, dark turn. It's not 10-year-olds anymore. And demigorgons are scary, but so are trolls in the bathroom. But now it's like, hey, all their limbs are breaking and their eyes are popping. Like that was terrifying, but it was done really well. I think all of our CGI looked really good. But what's
is just I'm just saying this is such a like almost feeling like a soft reboot of Stranger Things in terms of just like there are way more legitimate stakes. It's a way more, I don't want to say it's way more adult because like it's, it's dealing with violence against kids the same way all of these seasons have.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is a totally different show at this point than Dustin adopting a salamander from the Upside Down that turns into a dog who eats Sam Gamgee in the last episode.
Yeah. So Gremlins.
Yeah.
Just a quick update on our Russian guard friend and his involvement in video game voice acting. He has approximately 0 video games he's ever been in.
That's a shame. Why would I think that?
I don't know.
Maybe he's played a video game or two.
I bet he's touched one.
He's probably touched one. That's the vibe I get from him.
Now that looks like a guy who knows what a video game is.
He seems to know what video games are. Jordan, was there anything else that stood out to you? Like a scene specifically? Eddie's was one of the first things we talked about at all, with him up on the trailer.
Yeah.
It was so
I mean,
cool.
obviously that's an all-time great TV moment. Like,
you know where it is with me? It matches the movie moment of Fury Road.
Yeah. I think
when he's
actually
playing the
maybe
guitar.
cooler.
It is. It is because it's not as out of place. The Fury Road one though it's a little higher on the shock scale.
Yeah.
Of just being like,
for whatever reason, when Eddie looks at his guitar and he's like, it's like she was born to be in an alternate dimension. I got the same feeling as in Infinity War when Black Panther's like, get that man a shield. I was like, yes, give
him his guitar.
Yes, I was just like, take your axe.
How does the Master of Puppets played from the top of a bus in hell? How is that not stupid?
Is it less cool if it's not Master of Puppets? That's question number 2.
It's another one of our moments. It's the reason
what if he plays running up that hill as well?
Well,
Yes,
no,
that's
it's,
lame.
yeah, I was gonna, that's funny. Like, it's the reason that Max plus running up that hill worked so well. We're taking all of our best ingredients and putting them together.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. And it was such a freaking like, man, what a way to go.
I'm also going to say on my list of things that I really loved was Erica yelling crit hit when she kicked that jock in the beans.
Yeah.
She screamed out crit hit and then kicked him in the nards. And I really appreciated that a lot.
You know what's good about Eric? One of the things I love
Everything?
about Erica's
Is it
character,
everything?
it is
It's everything,
everything.
yeah.
But it's also that her age lets us still be back in season 1 to
I
me.
think that's the point of her inclusion.
Right? It's like, hey, we need to do this. Also, yeah, she's just such a Angelica from Rugrats. You know, it's like, it's just so fun. There is a lot of mistakes and like rottenness of narratives can be, I don't know how to say that, like eliminated just by good character writing.
Yeah.
I think the Duffer Brothers
Yeah.
are really good at creating characters.
Agreed.
Yes, they're so good at characters.
And so for those to kind of remain the same, I think for people to hold on, and that's probably what brings you to your super dump, Doge, is because that's how we can be let down. You know, there's a risk when you have so many. You got to keep that going.
Well, and I think one of the biggest...
metatextually, that's one of the things that this show has in common. Carter, with you said, like a D&D campaign.
Yeah.
Like this is like maybe our fourth adventure as a party. And the second and third adventures were not that great from a DMing standpoint, but some of the people at the table had outstanding role-playing character moments.
Yeah.
At the table.
Hopper, yeah.
So I think about Billy. I'm devastated that Billy's gone before the show came back to this level of quality because Billy's such an excellent character, acted so perfectly.
Yeah.
And then, don't get me wrong, I actually really like 3. I don't share this quite as negative emotions about season 3 as you do.
I enjoyed 3
really
a lot,
like
yeah.
3.
3 is good. 3 is a definite step up from 2, but it does not, it's the wrong kind of sequel to Stranger Things 1, I think.
Yeah.
In the way that this is, to me, the first actually good sequel to Stranger Things 1.
Yeah, I think that for me, it's like if Stranger Things 1 is a 9, 4 is a 9.3, 3 is like an 8 for me, and 2 is like a 6.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a pretty big quality difference in all when it's all said and done between those. But I just wish that Billy had been able to participate in Stranger Things at this level.
Yeah. Maybe he'll be back.
Could be. I mean, yeah, honestly, I guess he died in the physical plane.
His body's buried, but
In
Max
the
is dead too.
Physical plane. Boys, as we wrap up, I'd love to take a little journey into this box that I've brought here.
Oh, okay.
One of the great things about our $5 Patreon tier in that Discord channel is you get direct access to some last minute planning every now and then to where we just be like, hey, what's this? You know, it was kind of like a sleep paralysis moment, though. I keep asking our chunkies to answer questions and they're really quick to respond, but I do it in a channel where they can't respond. And so
I don't know why you keep doing it in announcements of all channels.
Yeah, I also think I also have not changed every time that we've played. I've never been good at this side of my life. Technology.
That is consistent character work.
It's consistent character work.
From whoever's
We've never even
playing you.
talked about. Have we ever even talked about how during one of like at the beginning of Le Pan, we had to wait 10 minutes because I didn't know how to work the computer, and we're performing live for like 4,000 people. Anyways,
Cool.
Sci-fi stuff. Anyways, I've got a couple questions I want to do, and then we'll wrap up on this episode. Which, by the way, happy 4th! What a fun 4th of July!
Yeah.
Wait. Are you asking the questions for this one?
Do you want to ask them? You can ask
I thought
them.
I usually did it.
You can do it. I asked
have some in
last
mind?
time. No. Well,
Okay.
I have one. I think you should at
You
least
asked
ask
last
the question.
time because you kept them secret.
Yeah, I think we should at least ask the question that leads us up to the movie that we're seeing
Yes.
for next week. Okay.
Yes.
I think we got time for a couple.
Sure. Yeah. So the first question we've got in this box comes from Emo Country on Discord. And they say, what popular show do you think is overrated? Stranger Things, probably for all of us, I think we would say.
Yeah, overrated.
What's a popular show that's overrated?
I mean, Big Bang Theory is obviously like one of the most popular sitcoms of all time, and I think it is terrible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a
not very
definite
good.
answer, but that feels like a cop-out, like an easy out answer.
I think Friends is overrated.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Oh.
one. I also think Friends is
Yeah.
overrated, but
I do
that feels
too.
like a cop-out to me now, too.
Yeah, it also feels like a cop-out. What's tough is I like everything.
I want to really shred somebody here, you know?
You can't say something like Westworld because there are a lot of people that I know are kind of off on it.
Yeah, I haven't
Sure.
been back since season 1. Season 1 was
It
enough
had a
for me to be like,
real hot start, but then
Popular show that's overrated. Ooh, this might make you guys mad.
go for
I
it.
think Fargo is 7 out of 10 TV.
which depends on which
I haven't
season
even
you're
watched
talking
it.
about.
Okay.
If you're talking about the
I
first
haven't
2
even- I haven't
seasons,
even
you're
watched it.
objectively wrong, but after that, yeah.
That's fair. First 2 seasons are the only ones I've seen, and I would say 7 out of 10 television.
Oh, you're wrong.
I think. Okay,
I've got my answer.
I've got one. I think Avatar: Last Airbender
Ooh.
is overrated.
I cannot wait to see the reaction to you saying that on our podcast.
I think I've just done such a deep dive into so much anime. That's one of the only ones I didn't finish, and I don't know what
Oh.
it was, but
Wow.
I was just kind of out. I don't know. It could have been something else in the environment that was affecting that. But,
Carter, are you ready for my answer? I think it might make you feel a little bit better.
okay.
I'm glad you said that one. I think
Jordan's going to be like, hey, have you heard of this show called Arcane?
Dude, I
No,
I
no,
was
no,
going
no.
to say the same thing.
no, I think that the Clone Wars is a 6 out of 10 television show with a handful of 10 out of 10 episodes.
I would agree completely.
I think
There's a ton of filler, isn't there?
There, I did
Which I
I
guess
found a
is kind of
list
the
that
point.
was like, here's how you skip all the ones that don't matter. And even of the ones on that list, I would have skipped about half of those. Like if I was telling somebody, here's what is cool and good and interesting and important, it's like maybe 15 episodes total of the Clone Wars that are like worth watching. But
was
those are
thinking
very
about that.
good.
I was
Is
thinking about
Ashoka in all the good ones?
Pretty
All the good
much.
episodes?
There's I can
yeah.
think of 2 or 3 without Ahsoka that are great, but pretty much
Yeah.
she's in all of the good ones.
Yeah. I was thinking about that particular like quality dichotomy
Yeah.
with Clone Wars. I would say in Rebels, it even skews less of a percentage that
Yeah.
is good and honestly
I don't
watchable
hear
to
Rebels spoken of quite as like beloved as Clone Wars.
me. Then is Obi-Wan and is Boba Fett following in the grand tradition of Star Wars TV of being over 60% skippable?
Yeah, could be. Could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's a good question.
It's a great
That hurts
question.
sometimes. Great question. Thank you, Emo Country. Thank you for your support.
This next question comes to us from B. Taylor on Discord. Design the perfect snack and drink combo to enjoy with Thor, Love and Thunder, which will be the movie that we're talking about, not tomorrow, because we got to take a quick ride on a boat to the bottom of the sea. But after that, we'll be talking about Thor, Love and Thunder. Design the perfect snack.
Yeah. I think mine's simple, but I think there's a lot of thoughtfulness here. You're going to have to probably sneak something in if you're going to see this in theaters, which you should. You're going to have to
I don't know
sneak
how
in
else
some,
you'd see it
You're going to
next
have to sneak in some sour belts. Specifically, there's some that are kind of just like a berry sour belt that are blue and darker blue.
Oh,
The
blue's one of my
stripes, you know what I'm
favorite
talking about?
flavors. I love blue.
So you're gonna sneak in a bag
I
of
love the taste of blue.
of sour berry belts and just get a real big Sprite. I'm not usually a Sprite guy, but that's a good combo. And I think you're gonna get like the kick of like a little bit of electricity there. Like if we're trying to make electricity from a meal, maybe it can come from something like that. You get little burps, which is fun. I mean, Taika movies are meant for burping, when you want. And it's just, keeps you on your toes. I think it's active. I'm just doing some sour belts and a Sprite. Very simple.
I'm gonna say you do a popcorn. We know this snack, yes. Just a plain popcorn. Put butter if you prefer. But in the popcorn, you're going to dump some sour Skittles, and then just give it a little mix because we want the sour.
interesting.
We want the zippy zap of the electricity.
Yeah.
We want to taste the rainbow because we'll be using the Bifrost to travel along the rainbow almost assuredly. We want popcorn because this is a classic experience that we're familiar with, a superhero movie. But there's a fun and shocking twist in that there is another Thor.
There is another. You know what? It'd be fun too if Alamo has a menu that it's just like a turkey leg and a stein of beer. I think I would do that
my
too, and that
goodness.
felt appropriate.
Just full on Viking.
Yeah,
What
so
a nasty theater to be in. Though.
They
I
serve
could not handle all this.
They serve it to you
sloppiness.
upside down in like a Viking helmet with horns.
yeah, I think the answer is a Velvet Hammer beer, and that seems obvious.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I'm so
Seems
I
like
will be
Velvet,
drinking a
Velvet
Velvet
Hammer,
Hammer.
beer. My answer for the
I did
food-
drink a Velvet Hammer when we went to see Ragnarok.
Yeah, I did too. It was the like specialty drink for the Alamo
Yeah.
thing. I think my answer for the food, and it's just simple, honestly, but it's the only thing that feels right. I was trying to be cutesy.
Grapes.
I was trying to think in my head and be cutesy, but the only answer that feels right to me is a big old soft pretzel, and I don't know why. It's not thematic. It's just I can't. That's the only thing that makes sense in my head.
Yeah, I love that.
Feel very strongly about the soft pretzel.
I love that.
Love it. Our final question this afternoon, morning, evening, whenever you're listening to this, our final question comes to us from Joseph Glass on Discord. What movie releasing over the next year, July 2022 to July 2023, are you most excited for? And why? You can say Love and Thunder. That is definitely the one we're going to see most
I'm very excited. for that.
soon.
Yeah, while you're thinking, my answer right now is Love and Thunder, and here's why. I had this discussion with Callie the other day. I am starting to get nervous that the problem with Star Wars is a Disney problem, and that Disney problem is going to start to bleed over into the MCU and leave us directionless and give us a bunch of, rather than 1 to 2 8 and above movies a year, we're going to get 5 to 6 sixes,
Yeah.
and that scattershot quantity over quality, and we're never going to connect our dots, and we're going to keep. I mean, the most recent episode of Miss Marvel was a good episode of TV, but I found myself being like, I don't. How am I?
Hey,
why am
we
I
all
supposed
watch
to
it?
be?
By the way, all three of us watched the 1 week that we all watched.
We don't have to.
the episode of Miss Marvel. We didn't talk about it.
As I was watching it, I was just like, I don't know why I'm supposed to care about this, because I'm supposed to be scared of these people. But if this was an Asgardian, they would all be dead already. Like, this isn't scary. We've had that Dragon Ball Z power creep way too high in the MCU, and they're not doing anything to address it in any way. So I'm kind of counting. I'm putting a lot of eggs in Thor: Love and Thunder.
My mouth is used to the Scovilles at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So anything below is like, it just didn't hit.
Yeah.
I wonder if a way around that would be like, if we're going to the multiverse, go all in on the multiverse. And like, they're scary here because Kamala Khan is like the second superhero ever.
Yep.
Iron Man, Hulk, like the Avengers never existed. It was only, this is a universe in which Captain Marvel was the only hero and then disappeared into space.
Yeah.
You know, let's make the Eternals be in its own universe so that a baby celestial exploding out of the Antarctic, we don't have to reference that because we clearly are not interested in referencing that.
Right.
We don't have to reference it if none of the world.
Nobody talking about this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited for Glass Onion. I'm excited for the new Knives Out
that
movie that just got announced recently. That's not what I'm most excited for. I am also excited. There's like a Borderlands movie that we're not hearing a ton about yet.
Kate Blanchett, right?
Yeah, it should. And Jack Black and Kevin Hart. It should be really fun.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a fun movie. I think there's supposed to be another George Miller Mad Max movie within the
Furiosa
next year. Yeah, and I'm always down
starring
for that.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
That one has been sort of heavily rumored for like the last 3 years, though. So take that one with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Well, it's because, when you do practical effects to the extent that he does,
Takes a
you got to
minute.
cover up the dead bodies and then figure out all the other stuff. I think what I'm actually most excited for is Nope.
Oh yeah.
yes.
This
Dude,
just
me too.
has-
That's my
this
most
has an-
excited one too.
That's so fun. It has an energy for me. It has Get Out energy, and it's not just because Kaluuya
Daniel Kaluuya.
is in it.
Yeah. Right.
I think the cast is so fun. He didn't go out and just get a ton of A-listers, but he got really talented people and put them in an incredibly unique environment. I love Aliens, Doge. I'm not surprised that that's what you're most excited for because you're a big Alien boy.
I am.
But yeah, I can't wait to see that. And that's so very soon.
Yeah, like 2 weeks after Love and Thunder.
Yep.
For me, I think it's Nope, and the reason why is because I am increasingly getting tired, getting a little franchise fatigue. Not to say that I don't enjoy franchise movies and sequels and threequels and fourquels and fivequels to stuff I loved before, but I'm much more interested in filmmakers at this point than I am franchises. And so
Well, it didn't have to be filmmakers. I mean, it's like, I also feel like Maverick gave me hope.
right, yeah,
Too, and
Which
that's
is
not the
funny.
most popular filmmaker.
yeah. But like things like this, our newest movie from Jordan Peele is exciting.
Yeah.
Our new James Cameron coming this Christmas is exciting to me.
I'm
I
very
keep bringing
excited
that
for
up, and it sucks, but I am excited for a James Cameron who gets to show up and be incredibly James Cameron.
And do a sequel, even though you just said you were tired of franchise fatigue. And do a sequel to
That is the thing. Is like that's what I'm excited
That's
about.
what's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the Knives Out sequel, even though it is a sequel. But like to me, there's a difference between a sequel and then the 19th movie in its shared universe.
Yeah. To end today's episode, let's keep it on Stranger Things. I'd love to have your name. And I think we're just getting one more season of Stranger Things. That's just how it feels. I don't know if it's going to be one of those classic two-parters. Who knows?
Stranger
It's like
Things
They have
5.1.
there's
confirmed
6 seasons.
that they are writing a shorter season 5 than season 4 is the opus, the large one, and then season 5 is a little shorter.
Well, I bet it's going to be 5 2-hour episodes or something.
Let's say we kind of maybe, because we got referenced that Vecna is not the big bad. I think we knew that. He's kind of
I think we got the opposite confirmation.
Vecna is the big bad.
but they said he's like the general.
Yeah, but I think he ended up forming that eldritch dust into the mind flayer.
The mind flayer.
I think that the eldritch dust is sort of it was there before us and it will be there after us kind of a vibe. But
Is that what we're fighting in the last season then?
No, I think we're
Is
fighting
the
Vecna.
dust?
I think we're fighting Vecna, and I think Vecna is going to come back minus an eye and minus an arm to mirror the Wizards of the Coast character Vecna from D&D.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. To end today's episode, since Vecna will still be here, and we're not going. I was going to have us. Who's the voice of a new villain? But I don't think we'll get a new
Ron
villain.
Perlman.
We'll have both Hellboys in the same show.
It'd be Upside Down Boy.
Yeah, Upside Down Boy.
Heck boy.
To end today's episode, I'd love to have your name, and I want you to tell me what Max's role is going to be in the final season.
Oh,
I'm Carter, and I think she's going to have a narrative that is very much like Bill Turner in Dead Man's Chest. That she's been taken over by the bad, but ultimately with whatever energy she has and capabilities she has, she'll be, the backstabber. She'll be the worm tongue pushing Sauron into the spike, which was not canon, but
sure.
That's what we had in the movies.
I think I'm Doge, and I
think you are too.
I think I'm Doge, as far as I can tell. And I got to give credit. I did see this idea on social media. And it just seems the most plausible to me. I think that the crux of season 5 is going to be we have to kill Vecna, but in so doing, we have to make sure of two things. Number one, we have to extract the parts that are Max and put them back inside Max, and I think 11's going to be doing that. And we have to kill Vecna without killing Will, which I think will be difficult to do. I think Will might die
pretty
at the very...
inextricably linked.
Will might die at the end of this last season. Hopefully he gets a chance to, it seems like, to come out.
Yeah.
That seems like what we're leading. If not, this is a pretty unbelievable example of queer baiting, but it seems like he gets a chance to come out before he dies at the end of the last season.
It seems like it to me. Yeah, I'm Jordan, and I'm fairly certain that Vecna in like D&D, like canon, there's something that involves, like, if you can get a hold of his hand, like he keeps his hand, his severed hand. And if you can get a hold of his hand, you're able to do something with him. And I think that Max is going to be the only one capable of grabbing that hand because she's the only one that has been part of him like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, one day,
I know.
When we're just fully bankrolled for this podcast, we're just going to also have our own production company.
I just know that there is a famous bit. I think it's on either Critical Role or one of the other big D&D actual play podcasts with Joe Manganiello, where he makes a play to steal the hand of Vecna that is like considered in the D&D community like genius, and people love him for it. So
that's so fun.
It's pretty interesting.
Amazing. We'll see you tomorrow for Titanic. And then the week after for Titanic's sequel, Thor: Love and Thunder.
For Titanic.
Too Furious.
Have you heard? Amazon is now hiring for their new site opening soon in New Albany. Be one of the first to take advantage of launching a new career at one of the best workplaces in the world. Being a part of Amazon includes great benefits and competitive pay, plus many opportunities for advancement. So get a new job today and kickstart a new career tomorrow. Learn more about the perks of working at a new Amazon site. Go to amazon.com/start now. Amazon is proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Make your garden twice as big this summer and get twice the harvest. Right now, get 2 Bonnie Plants 2.32 quart vegetable and herb plants for only $10. Their ready-to-grow starter plants make growing vegetables and herbs at home easier than ever before. Make your garden twice as big this summer and enjoy homegrown fresh vegetables and herbs with Bonnie Plants, 2 for just $10. Feels like 4th of July savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Selection varies by store, in-store only, not available offshore or Alaska.